Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because the deck just got some support out of Ghost from the past, and it got some amazing support at that. I'm really excited to bring this one to you guys because it summoned some of the craziest dragons in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the form of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, and some of the prettiest cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the form number 62, which is an amazing card with some awesome artwork. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome awards, like getting an inscription for every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, or even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron, along with test hands. So without further ado guys, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. So what this card does is basically not that big of a deal, because you're going to just special summon it off a bunch of different cards, and you're never really going to attack with this card. It comes up every so often, but its effect is that you special summon this card from your hand by treating 2 monsters with 2,000 or more attack on your side of the field, and then during either player's battle or damage step or battle step, when this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish this card and banish the opponent's monster as well. And then also, if it was an XZ monster that was banished off this effect, it gains 500 attack when it returns to the field during the end of the battle phase, which is pretty good. I like that effect, but it's very rare that you're going to use this effect. The only time that I've found that it's really funny to go off with this effect is if you attack into like a Zodiac monster and they lose all their materials and this card comes back really big, which is funny. It comes up sometimes like that, but other than that, it doesn't come up all that often to attack with this. But you have to play this card at 3 because it is the main focus of the entire deck to be able to use this card as an XZ material in the majority of your plays. We then play 2 copies of Galaxy Eyes Afterglow Dragon. Afterglow Dragon is really good because if you control a Galaxy Eyes monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position, and if this card is detached as a material from an XZ monster to activate that monster's effect, you can take a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from your hand or deck and either special summon it or add it to your hand, or attach it as XZ material to a monster you control. Then, if you activate this effect during the battle phase, you double the attack of all number XZ monsters you control, which is pretty good. Just a double like number 62 to 8,000. Like, that's ridiculous. We then play 2 copies of Galaxy Knight. Galaxy Knight is really good because if this card is normal summoned to your side of the field, which you can normal summon this card without tributing, if you control a Photon or Galaxy monster, this card loses 1,000 attack. And if it does, you special summon a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from your graveyard. But regardless, it does lose the 1,000 attack, which is still pretty good because it's essentially a 1 card. Well, you have to have another card on the field, but it kind of becomes a 1 card XZ play to revive your Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. And then this card, and you can make something like a 62 off of the normal summon of your Galaxy Knight. We then play 2 copies of Galaxy Brave. Galaxy Brave is if you can have this card in your hand, you can reveal a Photon monster in your hand, special summon this card to your field, and if you do, its level becomes the level of that Photon monster, which usually you want to reveal Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon with this effect to be able to cut it out as a level 8. It also has the ability that if this card is normal or special summon, you get to target a Galaxy Eyes monster in your graveyard, and this card's attack and defense becomes the same attack and defense of that monster. So if you have Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, this card can essentially come out as a free 3k beat stick, or if you have Galaxy Eyes number 62 in the graveyard, it comes out as a 4,000 beat stick, which is really interesting and really funny. We then play 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier is really good because if this card is special summoned to your field, you get to add a Galaxy card for a Galaxy monster from your deck to your hand, and then also you can send 1 light monster in your hand to the graveyard to instantly special summon this card to your field, which is a really good effect, and you can only use its effect once per turn to add from deck to hand, but you can special summon as many Galaxy Soldiers as you want off of its own effect, which is pretty good, but you can only get the add effect once per turn. We then play 2 copies of Photon Thrasher, which if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, but it can't attack if you control any other monsters. But it being a 2100 beat stick that you can instantly special summon to your field is really good to use as XZ material or Link material. We then play 3 copies of Photon Vanisher. Photon Vanisher is one of my favorite cards in this deck because it can't be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned while you control a Photon or Galaxy monster, and then it can't attack. Can't attack the turn it was special summoned, and also you can only special summon Photon Vanisher once per turn. And if this card is special summoned, you can add a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from your deck to your hand, and a monster that uses this card as XZ material banishes any monster it destroys by battle, which is pretty good just to be able to instantly summon this card to your side of the field and get a search. We then play 3 copies of Photon Orbital. Photon Orbital can equip itself from your hand to a Photon or a Galaxy monster, and the equipped monster gains 500 attack, but that's not the really good effect of this card. It also cannot be destroyed by battle, and you can send this card to your graveyard to add a Photon or Galaxy monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of itself. You can only use each of the effects of this card once per turn, so this card is just basically a searcher that you're going to equip to any of your Photon or Galaxy monsters that you have on the field, and then immediately send it to the grave and get a search, which is pretty good. We then play the same copy of Photon Advancer. Advancer is pretty neat because if you control a Photon monster, you can instantly special summon this card to your side of the field. And also, once per turn, it gains 1,000 attack if another Photon monster is on the field, which is pretty good to just immediately gain 1,000 attack on this card. We then play a single copy of Galaxy Wizard. Galaxy Wizard is one of the only normal summons you have in the entire deck, and basically once per turn, it gains, you can either make it a level 8, or you can tribute this card to add a Galaxy card from your deck to your hand. Usually I use this card as a level 8 monster to go into additional plays. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Rhoda because you play a lot of warriors in this deck and you really want to get to them as quickly as possible. One copy of Monster Reborn because you can revive a lot of different cards to your side of the field from your graveyard. One copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is really, really good to be able to stop your opponent from all sorts of hand traps against you. Galaxy Zero because it's basically Monster Reborn but it equips to a Photon monster and lets you target a Photon or Galaxy in your grave, special summon it in attack position, and then the equipped monster can't attack or activate its effects, and this card is destroyed. If it would be destroyed during the battle phase, you can destroy this card instead, but when this card leaves the field, the equipped monster becomes 0. It doesn't destroy it, it just becomes 0 attack, which you're usually going to immediately use it for an XZ material, so it's fine. We then play the same copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, because the only thing that this deck actually kind of loses to is back row, so this card's really helpful just to kind of help you OTK. 2 copies of Galaxy Trance. I really like this card as a 2-0 because you pay 2,000, target a Photon monster in your graveyard, and then you get special summon both it and a Galaxy monster from the deck, but their attacks both become 1,000. They go into defense position and their effects are negated. So basically you're just using them for a link material to kind of, you know, go for Soulflare Dragon, which is the big play of this card, or go for an XZ play. We then play 3 copies of Photon Sanctuary. Photon Sanctuary gives you 2 tokens on your side of the field that basically is like a free Photon for Galaxy Eyes Soulflare for the Link monster. So you just play this card to summon your Link monster, which is really neat. We then play 3 copies of Galaxy Expedition. If you control another level 5 or higher Photon or Galaxy, you can special summon one other level 5 or higher Photon or Galaxy from your deck, which this card is basically like a free special summon if you control a level 5 or higher, which is pretty cool. I love this card. It's only once per turn, but it's probably one of the craziest cards in the deck. And then we play 3 copies of Trade-In to round out the spells. This card, basically, you discard any level 8 from your hand and you draw 2, which this deck plays a lot of level 8s. And sometimes you want to get your level 8s in the graveyard, like you might open a copy of Galaxy Eyes Photon and a Galaxy Zero, but you have no way to summon it. So you want to go ahead and discard it with Trade-In to be able to draw additional cards. It's kind of what I said at the beginning of the video, that Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon isn't a great monster to summon itself to your side of the field of its own effect, but it is very utility and very needed at 3 in the deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Tachyon Transmigration. Tachyon Transmigration is really neat because if you control a face-up Galaxy monster, you negate the activation of your opponent's spell or traps and monster effects that were before this card in the chain. So if your opponent activates like 4 cards in a chain and you chain this, you negate all 4 of them. And it shuffles the cards back into the deck, which is crazy that this card can just be a 1-card negate for like as many cards as they can chain. Like, what's really amazing about this card. But if you control a Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon monster, you can immediately activate this card from your hand. So sometimes I will actually summon Tachyon Dragon if I have this card in my hand to then go in at my opponent, and if they activate anything, I can just immediately negate it with this card, which is why I love Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon in the extra deck so much, is because it makes this card live all the time. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of number 62. You just really need 1 copy of this because once you summon it once, you're probably going to win because it's a 4K beat stick, and also it has the ability that if this card attacks or is attacked during the damage calculation, you can detach material from this card, and then this card gains the attack equal to the combined original ranks of all monsters on the field. This card immediately goes to 56, which is really good, and it's just a really good card overall. We then play a single copy of number 107, Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, which is basically here for the Tachyon Transmigration, and it's just one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite of all the Galaxy Eyes monsters. It lets you once per battle phase. At the start of the battle phase, you can detach a material from this card to negate the effects of all the face-up cards currently on the field, and also their attacking events become their original attacking events. And if you do any of these during the battle phase this turn, each time your opponent activates a effect or resolves an effect, this card gains 1,000 attack and can also attack again during the battle phase. If your opponent does anything during the battle phase while this card's on your field and they resolve the effect, this card can just swing again, which is insane. Cypher Dragon, because it can take your opponent's monsters. One copy of Hope Harboring Dragon Titanic Galaxy, because it can negate spells. One copy of Full Armor Photon, because you can overlay this on top of any of your Galaxy Eyes monsters, and then immediately pop a card, which is pretty good, and it's a 4K beat stick. Cypher Blade can also pop a card, but it can't be used as a link material, not link material, but XZ material. It's really good, but it's really just one of both of these, because you can make it on top of any of these, which is pretty cool. We then play a single copy of the new Galaxy Eyes Cypher EX Dragon. I am proxying this card, but if you guys want to check out how to make proxies, they are on the channel as well. There is a video for play testing or cards like this that I haven't been able to get my hands on yet. I do have plans of it, but I just haven't been able to. Basically, this is just an upgraded form of your Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon, and it lets you special summon it as an XZ material. It also lets you once per turn, you can XZ summon this card on top of Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon monster, which is pretty cool. And also you can use those materials to this card, and it basically just upgrades that monster, which is really cool. One copy of Galaxy Lord. Galaxy Lord is really good because it lets you, when your opponent monster activates an effect, you can quick effect detach a material from this card to negate the monster's effect, and then if you detach a Galaxy Eyes monster, you destroy the card as well. And also, during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can take one Photon or Galaxy card from your deck and either add it to your hand or attach it to this card as material, which is pretty good. We then play a single copy of Felgrand. Felgrand is really good because you can detach the Afterglow off this card during your turn to resolve its effect, which is really insane. This card is pretty good to summon as a one-of in this deck, and plus it becomes immune to everything. We play a single copy of Cyber Dragon Infinity and a single copy of Cyber Dragon Nova. These are basically here for the Galaxy Soldier play, that you summon this, and then you summon two Galaxy Soldiers, and then you immediately summon Cyber Dragon Nova and then Infinity on top of it. One copy of Starleech Photon Blast. Photon Blast is the only level 4 that we play, or rank 4 in the deck that we play, and basically what it does, this card is XZ summon. You can special summon one Photon monster from your hand, which is the big effect of this card. And also it has a really neat effect that when this XZ summon card on the field, when this card is XZ summon on your side of the field, and your opponent cannot target monsters you control with 2,000 or more attack with card effects, and also they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either. And then once per turn, quick effect, you can detach a material to target one Galaxy Eyes Photon in your graveyard that's managed or in the grave, and immediately special summon it back, which is really good just to be able to get you those additional plays. Double A Zeus, because you're playing XZ's monsters and it board wipes your opponent. And then two copies of Soul Flare as well, which is really good in this deck, to be able to just go into this card extremely easily and just basically board wipe your opponent, because if they special summon a monster to their side of the field that was special summoned from the extra deck, then you can immediately discard a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon to destroy that card, which is pretty good. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it, and this deck is really fun to play with. I highly recommend that you guys give this deck a try. I will say to you guys, if you still don't have your hands on a Cypher EX Dragon, you can play for now another copy of 62 for the moment. If you want to go that route, you can do that. Or the Bujin Link monster. I would recommend getting a hold of that card as quickly as possible, because it's going to be really, really good in this deck. But when it comes out, definitely play it. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.